On a field of white snow, a soldier kneels, his hands trembling in the freezing wind. Blood stains the snow crimson. The enemy's faint breath still lingers on his lips. He looks around. Silence. Nothing remains but snow and a fading life. For a moment, his hand grips the gun, then slowly lets it fall. In his weary eyes, something begins to melt. Not the snow, but his humanity. Sometimes, amid gunfire and hatred, the only thing that keeps us alive is the compassion that refuses to die within us. Welcome to this channel of human stories, where we listen together to the things we thought were lost in this hurried life. Today, I want to tell you about a soldier, a man who once believed compassion was a luxury in times of war. But one freezing night, under falling snow, he faced a choice he would never forget, between duty and mercy. This story is not just about war. It's about the small flame that still burns in each of us, a light gentle enough to warm even the longest winter. The battle had dragged on for months. The northern mountains seemed to have forgotten the color of grass. Bare trees bent under the wind, and snow covered the footprints of those who had fallen. Amid that frozen world was a soldier named Lamb. He no longer remembered what he was fighting for: country, honor, or just an order. Each morning he woke in a narrow bunker, his breath turning into mist, his fingers trembling on the icy gunmetal. Sometimes, through a crack in the wooden wall, he saw a small sparrow shivering on a branch. He picked a few grains of corn from his ration and tossed them outside. The bird tilted its head at him, then flew away. For a moment, Lamb smiled, a rare thing in the heart of war. At night, the wind howled through the mountains, and the distant gunfire echoed like thunder swallowed by snow. He sat alone by a dim oil lamp, pulling out an old letter, its paper yellowed, its edges curled by time. In it, his mother had written, "My son, wherever you are, remember, compassion is the truest strength." Lamb clutched the letter to his chest. His eyes drifted into the dark, as if he wanted to believe, but could no longer find the faith to do so. Outside, the war raged on. But inside him, a question began to whisper. If I kill a man, do I truly survive? That question would follow him through the endless snow, until one night he found his answer. That night, snow fell thick enough to bury the world. The wind howled through the ravine, and flakes shattered on Lamb's shoulders as he walked his lonely patrol. Through the white silence came a faint sound, a moan. He stopped, held his breath, and tightened his grip on the gun. Behind a rock lay a man curled up, his uniform torn, blood seeping red across the snow. An enemy soldier. The flashlight beam touched the pale face, young, eyes closed, breath shallow. Lamb raised his gun, but his finger froze on the trigger. The wind fell silent. Only his heartbeat thundered in his chest. An endless second passed. He lowered the gun and knelt beside the man, his trembling hand pressed against the frozen coat. Still breathing. He whispered hoarsely. Lamb tore a strip of his uniform and wrapped the wound. Warm blood soaked through the cloth, staining his hands crimson. In the flicker of the flashlight, red mingled with white snow, turning it a soft pink, beautiful and unbearably sad. He carried the man back to a small shelter, lit a fragile fire. The flame trembled like his own breath. Lamb sat beside him, watching his face slowly regain color. In that moment, war dissolved. There were no sides, no enemies, only two men fighting the same cold, the same fear. Lamb looked into the fire and murmured, If compassion is a crime, then let me bear it forever. Dawn rose slowly after the blizzard. The first light slipped through the crack of the shelter, brushing across the enemy soldier's face. His breathing steadied. His eyes fluttered open. Lamb, slumped against the wall, woke with a start. They stared at each other. No words, no hatred, only the uneasy silence between two men who once aimed to kill. The wounded soldier whispered, "Why, didn't you kill me?" Lamb lowered his gaze. After a long pause, he said softly, "Because you're trembling in the cold, just like me." He handed the man a piece of dry bread. They sat by the dying fire, sharing small sips of water. No words were needed. Their eyes spoke enough. Fear, loneliness, and the will to live are the same for every man. When the sun climbed higher, Lamb knew he had to leave. He placed his scarf beside the man, then stepped out into the snow. Before turning away, he glanced back once more. The wounded soldier's eyes shimmered, filled with gratitude that needed no voice. Lamb nodded gently, then walked on. The snow crunched under his boots, echoing the rhythm of a heart finally at peace. Years passed. The war ended, and snow still fell each winter, but now without gunfire. In a quiet village at the mountain's foot lived an old woman and her young son, Lamb's mother and child. One morning, as the snow began to melt, a foreign man arrived, carrying a small wooden box. He bowed deeply before her. Inside the box lay a worn scarf and a letter written in unfamiliar handwriting. It read, "Years ago, in the snow, your son saved my life. I survived, but he did not. Today, I return to say thank you and to keep his compassion alive." The man bowed again and left. The old woman watched him go, tears glistening, yet a soft smile touched her lips. Outside, the snow began to fall once more, pure and gentle like a blessing. And somewhere, in that silent white field, it felt as if Lamb still walked, smiling, holding his mother's letter, finally at peace. In the darkness of war, compassion is the only flame that never dies. It may be small, fragile, but once lit, it shines through even the coldest places. Thank you for listening to this story. If warmth still lingers in your heart, then his kindness lives on through you. See you in the next story, where we continue to rediscover our faith in humanity.